Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here, and welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Monday evening, July 28, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the that's been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, taking a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather look that came out at 7:12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:12 p.m. Jamaica time. Tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days. And this is why the infrared satellite imagery right here of the Atlantic not really showing much of anything. You see clouds associated with troughs interacting with tropical waves across Central America. A tropical wave currently affecting portions of Hispaniola. We see lots of clouds out here associated with the intertropical convergence zone, intertwined with a few tropical waves across the waters to the south of the Cabo Verde Islands. Nothing really organized to pique the interest of the Hurricane Center. I know that if something should get named, the next name on the list is Dexter. On the eastern to the central Pacific side of things now, we're still looking at two areas that could develop over the next 7 days. One with a medium 60% chance right here, closer to the tropical systems that were named. And to the east of that, we have a code red to the south of Mexico that has a high chance of development. And if we take a look at the infrared, we can see the systems even better. This is the area that has a medium chance of development. This is the area that has a high chance of development. And we know that if they should acquire names, the next names on the list are Gil and Henriette. But as you can see, across the Central Pacific, we have two new names, Iona and Kelly. So that's how we know that that's a whole different basin in general. So the Central Pacific is different from the Eastern Pacific, so we don't use the same names at all. So we have Iona, we have Kelly in the Eastern Pacific. The I name is Ivo, and the K name is Kiko. So I guess they do it a bit different over there. As you can see, we have Iona right here spinning away to the south of Hawaii. Definitely a decent looking hurricane. And to the east of that, we have tropical storm Kelly right in here. The statistics regarding Hurricane Iona are as follows. It is currently packing maximum sustained winds of 75 miles per hour. It is moving towards the west at 10 miles per hour. And we know if it's packing maximum sustained winds of 75 miles per hour, as you can see here, it makes the category 1 hurricane. Anything from 74 to 95 miles per hour winds, category 1 status for sure. As you can see, it's expected to pass to the south of Hawaii right in here. All of the Hawaiian islands are over here. Continue to push out towards the west, where it's expected to weaken back to a tropical storm in the S by about Thursday into Friday, Saturday, right there. Regarding tropical storm Kelly, on the other hand, we can see it should maintain tropical storm status, then downgrade back to a tropical depression by Wednesday, as you can see in there. It is currently packing maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour, moving towards the west at 10 miles per hour. And we know if it's packing maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour, we know anywhere from 39 to 73 miles per hour makes it a tropical storm. So it's definitely a low end tropical storm, definitely closer to tropical depression status than to hurricane status for sure. So it's basically going to be following in the footsteps of Iona over there. On the western Pacific side of things, we're still watching tropical storm Komi right here to the northeast of Taiwan, and to the east of Komi we have tropical storm Croza. Yesterday Croza was a typhoon, a hurricane. As you can see, the infrared is confirming all of these entities. Clouds associated with tropical storm Komi right in here, and to the east of Komi we have Croza right here to the southeast of Japan. We see a lot of moisture all the way down in here across the waters of the Western Pacific into Taiwan and the Philippines. Definitely getting nailed as we speak. Lots of monsoonal activity, lots of flooding, even extending into portions of China. They're still getting nailed with a lot of heavy rainfall and a lot of flooding. Regarding the first system, that's Tropical Storm Kulmi, it is still packing maximum sustained winds of 35 and knots. So we know that anywhere from about, let's say, 34 to 64 knots is tropical storm status. It's definitely a tropical storm, a low-end tropical storm at that. It's expected to continue moving towards the west-northwest and then pushing towards the northwest into eastern China by around, let's see, this is the 30th of July, I believe. So by the 30th, it should be inland into eastern China for sure. Also bringing more flood rains to those areas. Regarding Tropical Storm Croza, is still continuing to expect it to move very slowly. I mean, look at where it's located right now, as of the 28th. It's expected to be just a little bit to the north of there by the 2nd day of August, still to the southeast of Japan. So it's definitely moving very slowly. Still expected to pack maximum sustained of 50 knots, 55 knots at most. So we know that's going to be maintaining the tropical storm status. That's a medium range tropical storm status, as you can see in there. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we have numerous tropical waves across the Caribbean, but boy, these tropical waves aren't, bringing a lot of moisture, a lot of rainfall to Jamaica these days one bit. A tropical wave right in here to the west of Jamaica affecting Central America. They're definitely getting nailed. There's actually a tropical wave to the east of Jamaica. Let's see if we actually get some moisture associated with that tropical wave tomorrow. What's been affecting Jamaica today was just some afternoon rainfall associated with a trough to the east of the tropical wave. Right here to the west of the Lesser Antilles, we have another tropical wave, and we have one more tropical wave right here, equidistant from the Caribbean and Africa, and to the east of that, just coming off of Africa, and brand new tropical wave right in here. All of these entities being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridges of high pressure to the north as usual. Taking a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic, let's see if we can make out all of these entities. There is a tropical wave definitely somewhere in here. We can see the moisture affecting Honduras, Nicaragua, lots of cloud showers and thunderstorms. There is supposedly a tropical wave right in here to the west of Haiti, to the east of Jamaica. We can see the moisture especially affecting Haiti, some thunderstorms over in there. Let's see, there's supposedly another tropical wave somewhere in here according to the surface map. Not really seeing the moisture with that, even although we see some low level clouds pushing from east to west. They stated that another tropical wave is somewhere in here. Even if that's the case, I guess the most of the moisture is somewhere down in here across the southern waters. And apparently there's another tropical wave that just exited the coast of Africa. And we see a lot of clouds associated with the intertropical convergence zone squashed to the south. And you can clearly see the low level flow and the mid level flow of the clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean a little later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Monday, July 28, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast of parts of eastern Jamaica on Monday morning, also affecting sections of some central and western parishes during Monday afternoon. We know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine. Or western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? At around 9:06 a.m., the visible satellite images were posted not only here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, but it was also posted on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can see the low-level clouds and mid-level clouds pushing into sections of eastern Jamaica as well as northern Jamaica. So we definitely had some overcast skies, if not some isolated showers across sections of some northern parishes in the morning, sections of St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, section of St. Thomas. Definitely gotten some amount of morning rainfall this morning, but not to the extent of what was thought up would have happened, but we'll take the few little showers that we can get. But it's the afternoon that was very fruitful with the rainfall, because at around 12:15 p.m., so in the early afternoon, the visible satellite image was posted once again, and it highlighted some clouds bringing some overcast skies, if not some isolated thundershowers, to sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes, more so northeastern parishes like Portland into St. Mary, sections of northern St. Catherine, Clarendon, especially where we see these sparkling yellow dots. That's where you know that we're getting some lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So we definitely had that across sections of Manchester, St. Elizabeth, section of Westmoreland, definitely gotten on the isolated afternoon thundershower activity. And then finally, the final post that was made, the infrared right here, confirming the thunderstorms. All of these blues, greens, yellows, oranges, and reds, even into the blacks, represent the cumulonimbus cloud cover, not to mention the sparkling white dots that represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. And we definitely had the upper level wind shear blowing those cloud tops off towards the north, bringing more overcast skies to sections of the northern parishes like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, while most of the thunderstorms were across sections of some south central and southwestern parishes, and we're grateful for that. So definitely across sections of St. Catherine, sections of Clarendon, sections of Manchester, sections of St. Elizabeth, not the part of St. Catherine that has Portmore at all. I'm hearing you guys complaining, not really much rainfall in Portmore, Kingston, or St. Andrew at all today. Definitely sunny and hot. I know you're dying for the rainfall, but we definitely had that rainfall across the other southern parishes for sure. I definitely have the visible satellite imagery right here, confirming all of the whites that represent the clouds blanketing especially the western half of the island for sure, and even had some thunderstorms to the south of us. Infrared right here confirming the thunderstorms to the south of us. Everything starting to dissipate as we were beginning to lose the sunlight, as you can see in there. And we definitely have confirmation right here, the live camera from C Jamaica's YouTube channel at around 1:39 p.m. showing the moderate rainfall that was taking place around the Flatbridge area. Definitely decent rainfall soaking the area for sure, but it doesn't prohibit anyone from crossing. You can see the Rio Cobra still definitely chilling. It definitely, needs more rainfall for the Rio Cobra to be in spate or to be above the bridge. This little rainfall won't do much of anything, especially considering that we haven't been receiving much rainfall, but I'm sure they're happy for the little cool down that took place around there today. You can see people in their vehicles going about their business. Definitely wet conditions for the most part. And if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit C Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free, so subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website. This map does indeed paint quite the picture of where we had that rainfall today, across especially some south central and the southwestern parishes for sure. And we definitely have some comments that came in to confirm what the weather is like in some of our subscribers and followers areas. We have Anastasia Green stating cloudy with some rain. I wonder what parish that is. We have Latoya Taylor stating get rain in Rose Hall, St. Elizabeth with lightning and thunder. Thanks for confirming. We have Gavon Thompson stating we got rain in Maypen. I am so happy. I'm glad for you. Even on our Instagram page, we had the comments coming in. Apple 775508 stating raining in Black River. Marlon _one God _ stating Clarendon just get a downpour. We also have Caroline Tamara Lewis stating Clarendon we enjoying the rain, we deserve it. Edwards Tanisha, oh gosh man, you never tell a lie. Gosh, a shower of rain in South Manchester, the lightning, the thunder, crazy. It was so well needed. Thank you for confirming. And finally, one comment here on our TikTok page, Miss McDonald stating heavy showers in Westmoreland. I guess, yes, we even have some comments here on YouTube. Randall Green stating good evening with Jamaica. We didn't have any rain in Brownstone, St. Anne. Now it's very cloudy, but we have Jamie Bent stating I think this is the first time I've seen so much rain in such a short time since 2025. Windmill, South Manchester. Thank you all for confirming what the weather was like today. So you heard the parishes that got the rainfall. Definitely across sections of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, section of Northern St. Catherine where you have the Rio Cobra. Now really Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas or Portland or St. Mary or St. Anne or Trelawney or St. James at all. But I'm glad some people got some rainfall. Alright, so let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. Let us see what's happening right now. Alright, so the latest still image is showing 0045 UTC. We see some leftover clouds out here to the west of Hanover, to the west of Westmoreland. Some clouds right here across Clarina. We even see some clouds right here across Portland. Could it be raining as we speak? Either way, this map is showing 0045 UTC, which is actually 7:45 p.m. So this just came out 10 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:55 p.m. right now. The latest Cuban Doppler radar. So let us reload the latest Cuban Doppler radar, the latest Guantanamo Bay U.S. Navy radar, the latest Cayman radar. As a matter of fact, let us see if we can get the latest Met Service radar, if it is up and running as yet. Is it? Let's find out. Nope, still showing that test image, test content from July 24. Either way, Cuban Doppler radar is right here. Let's see if it glitched out as usual. Alright, definitely glitched out. It's showing the latest, which was at a run. As a matter of fact, today is July 28. It's still showing, well, it's showing a mixture of July 27 and July 28. The July 28 was showing 6:53 p.m., which was actually 5:53 p.m. At that time, some leftover rainfall over here in the west. Let's see what the Guantanamo Bay U.S. Navy radar is showing. Some rainfall across sections of Haiti, just as we stated. Definitely getting in on some rainfall associated with that tropical wave. Let's see if we can get some of that rainfall tomorrow. Don't really see much of anything across northeastern Jamaica, but we do see some isolated showers here and there across portions of southeastern Cuba. The Cayman radar, on the other hand, showing some rainfall here and there across portions of Cuba, some rain bands to the west and to the south of the Cayman Islands, some leftover rainfall to the west of Westmoreland and Hanover, just as we saw earlier. The live camera here from C Jamaica's YouTube channel showing what's happening now. We can see downtown Kingston, people in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing to do with bad weather taking place, and that should be the order of the evening. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can tell we're 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay as well as in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Tuesday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18th on Tuesday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Tuesday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some grays and some slight yellows. That represents average to slightly above average temperatures, at least 1 degree Celsius above average. I know the average temperature for the month of July across Jamaica is around 91 degrees Fahrenheit. When that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 32.8 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32.8 to 33.8 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Tuesday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online Twitter page that we have to highlight. I know that we have to highlight this because we know that when we're power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Tuesday, July 29, 2025. We're referring to Seaview Gardens in St. Andrew from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Also, Gibraltar Heights in St. Mary from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. If I'm not butchering that place's name, is it Gibraltar? Next, we have Itiboral Housing Scheme in St. Mary from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Next, a section of Nightingale Grove in St. Catherine from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Brian Marrow Avenue in St. Andrew from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have Waterloo in St. Elizabeth from 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Stephen Run in St. Elizabeth from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. School Street in St. Elizabeth from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. We have Farm Line to McAlpine in Westmoreland from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Zion Hill, Marlborough, Rock Spring in St. Mary from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Shortwood, Catadupa, Bellfront, Seaford Town, Ginger Hill, Lambs River, Pisgah, and all roads leading off in the parish of St. James from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, seek shade when outside. Eat fresh, try eating cold foods such as salads and fruit. Rest, make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak, take a cool shower or a bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough the importance of keeping hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. The dry air map still showing a lot of dry air extending all the way from Africa across the main development region into portions of the Caribbean and the Gulf. But we like that we're seeing some breaks in between where we have the blues. That's where we have a lot more clouds. That's where we have a lot more rainfall. That's what we want to see. We want the moist air, that we get more rainfall to keep water in our pipes, because know that the dry air, as represented by what we see on the key on the bottom, the yellows, the oranges and red, are responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable. We don't want any of that. We want more moist air. Wherever we have the blues, that's where we have the clouds. That's what we want to see. But regarding the Saharan dust forecast for the next 3 days, so we're heading into July 29, July 30 and July 31. And as you can see, we know the Saharan dust is represented by the greens into the yellows into the oranges into the reds into the pinks. And what we're seeing over the next 3 days is that yes, some Saharan dust is pushing through in the greens, but it's nothing really noticeable. What we don't want to pass through the Caribbean is all of this that we see across the main development region right now. The oranges into the pinks, that's that vigorous plume that could trigger some amount of, respiratory illnesses in some persons, asthma, sinusitis, and it could definitely be notable in the atmosphere when we see the hazy skies as well. Hopefully the more west it pushes as usual, the more it dwindles down. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, still seeing that the highest waves are right here to the far south of Jamaica, where we have the dark blues into the purples. That's a 2 to 2.5 meter wave height, and that's because of the 20 to 25 knot wind that are expected. We see the bright greens into the yellows. That's the 20 to 25 knot, as you can see here from the key on the bottom right. But regarding Jamaica's wave forecast tomorrow, to the south of St. Thomas, 1.3 meter wave height. The south of Clarendon, 0.6 of a meter wave height. The south of Westmoreland, 0.6 of a meter wave height. To the north of Hanover, 0.7 of a meter wave height. To the north of St. Anne, 0.8 of a meter wave height. To the north of Portland, 0.9 of a meter wave height. That's because of the winds that are expected. We see that easterly flow of the winds for sure. To the north of St. Anne and Trelawney, 15 knots. To the south of St. Thomas, 15 knots. To the south of Manchester and St. Elizabeth, 15 knots. And we also see where the air is expected to pile up across sections of some central and western parishes once again. So that's where we could have those low level clouds becoming middle of rain clouds, if not upper level cumulonimbus clouds, especially across the central and western end for sure. And the upper level winds seem to be changing a bit. We see it coming in from I think it's the west, and then look at that, some strong easterly upper level wind shear coming in, even east southeasterly, even southeasterly. It's going to be very interesting to see exactly what unfolds on Tuesday. Either way, in terms of the actual rainfall forecast, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is actually 10 a.m. Jamaica time. And what do we see on both maps? We see that both maps are showing the blues are representing rainfall across the far eastern end once again. So maybe Kingston, St. Andrew, Portland, St. Thomas, we'll see. Take this work as a grain of salt. That definitely might not happen. Then by afternoon, this is 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. And what do both maps show? We see the blues represent rainfall, even some dark blues into the greens, even some yellows, oranges in there. Very interesting. Across especially central and western parishes. So I'm guessing that tomorrow could be even wetter across sections of central and western Jamaica than what it was like today, especially given that the tropical wave will be crossing over us. Even though we're not seeing much moisture regarding the tropical wave right now, when we look at the satellite imagery, we don't see much in the way of moisture. Yes, we do see some thunderstorms affecting Hispaniola for sure. Let us look at the latest. Yep, some decent thunderstorms affecting Haiti as we speak, but we don't really see much activity to the south of there over the waters to bring Jamaica some. But we'll see how it actually unfolds on a Tuesday. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that we do get the rainfall in the places that really need it. Either way, decent rainfall amounts for sure on both the Euro and the GFS malls for 2 p.m. Even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps are going up to 1 inch or more of rainfall, which could mean some isolated flash flooding could be happening. We see 1.01 in the Kingston St. Andrew area on the Euro. The GFS going up to 1.78 inches of rainfall in the, looks like what, Trelawney area, in the southern Trelawney area. We'll see how that actually plays out. Either way, we'll take it because we're in the month of July. And in Kingston's bar graph is being shown right at the top, where you receive around 50 millimeters of rainfall for the month. In Montego Bay's bar graph is being shown right at the bottom, where you receive around 3.2 inches of rainfall for the month. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of July or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website to show that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS Supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go to the next one, John 68 hours. That's the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens. They represent inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. Alright, so we know that 12Z is actually 7 a.m. and we don't really see much of anything for Wednesday morning, just some slight greens across the far eastern end of the island. Then Wednesday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across some central and western parishes. Just see if we have the consensus on the GFS. Wednesday morning, not really showing much. Wednesday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across central and western parishes as well. What do we see for Thursday morning? Thursday morning, we see rainfall to the north and south of us on the Euro. Thursday afternoon, eastern, southern, and western parishes with that rainfall. That's what the GFS shows. Thursday morning, rainfall to the east of us. Thursday afternoon, central and western parishes with that rainfall. That's what Friday morning shows. Friday morning, rain to the north and east of us on the Euro. Friday afternoon, we see rainfall across some central and western parishes. What does this GFS show? Friday morning, rainfall to the east of us. Friday afternoon, rainfall across some northern and western parishes. What do we see for Saturday? Saturday morning, rainfall to the east. Then Saturday afternoon, some rainfall across central and western parishes. What do we see for Sunday morning on the Euro as well? Sunday morning, not really seeing much, but we do see an abundance of moisture extending from Puerto Rico to the north of there. Very interesting. Sunday afternoon now. Looks like central and western parishes with that rainfall, and we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 1 John 68 hours. So this is valid for Monday, August 4. We see some moisture right here to the north of the Dominican Republic, some moisture across the waters to the south of Jamaica and eastern Jamaica. Let's see if we have the consensus on the GFS for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Saturday morning, rain to the north. We also see that moisture right here into the eastern Caribbean. Interesting. Saturday afternoon, rainfall across western Jamaica. Sunday morning, not really much, but we do see that moisture across the northeastern Caribbean. Sunday afternoon, southern and western parishes with that rainfall. We're stopping it right here at the end of the 1 John 68 hours. So this is valid for Monday, August 4. And we're seeing some moisture across Jamaica. We see that moisture across Jamaica on the Euro as well. And we see an abundance of moisture extending into the Dominican Republic and the Leeward Islands. Very interesting. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, in terms of the total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall over the next 7 days, in terms of what both maps are showing, should be across Northern South America into Central America as usual. The GFS is trying to bring some rainfall into portions of the Leeward Islands, into portions of Hispaniola and Cuba. We see the dark reds into the purples, all of which represent what we see here on the key on the right side. So 2, maybe even up to 3 inches of rainfall, but we don't see that on the Euro. The Euro is more in line with what the GFS is showing for the rainfall from the 2 all the way up to the 5 inches of rainfall for Central America into Northern South America. While other areas shaded in the greens, yellows, oranges, and reds, for the most part, at least an inch of rainfall or less for the Greater Antilles into the Lesser Antilles. While in terms of Jamaica's total accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 7 days, we can clearly see that the most rainfall on the Euro should be over here out west, up to 75 millimeters of rainfall at that. Across Trelawney, we see the greens into the yellows, represents 15 all the way up to maybe 40 or more millimeters of rainfall. GFS showing something similar, especially over here where we see it getting up into the oranges as well, the 50 maybe 60 millimeters of rainfall. we'll see exactly what unfolds, and whatever happens, I will definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs, so stay tuned. Alright, taking a look at what's happening across the rest of the basin. As stated, we're still watching the numerous tropical waves across the main development region. Hopefully, something brings us some decent rain. Not a hurricane or a storm, but maybe a strong tropical wave or a weak tropical depression. We'll definitely take that. We can see that tropical wave definitely brought some rainfall to a portion of Honduras and Nicaragua today. Don't really see much happening across the Windward Islands right now, but Leeward Islands might be getting into some isolated shores as we speak. Let us see what's happening over there. We see some moisture right here around Antigua and Barbuda, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Dominica, sections of Puerto Rico getting on some isolated shores, so too Dominican Republic. Loading these images from earlier today, northwestern Puerto Rico got their fair share of moderate to heavy rainfall. You can also see the Barbados radar right here, showing some rainfall affecting portions of the Dominican Republic, east of Martinique as well. And if we take a look right here, we can see some rainfall across southern Florida, some rainfall across western Cuba, the Yucatan, northern Guatemala, Honduras getting on some amount of rainfall. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall should be affecting northern South America into Central America. We're talking about the Yucatan, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana. We also see some rainfall expected for portions of Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Jamaica. We even see some rainfall in the greens and the yellows for portions of Puerto Rico, the Leeward Islands as well. So Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica, section of Martinique, Grenada getting nice amount of action, as well as Trinidad and Tobago. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with this forecast. I know that when they're in agreement like this, chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.